called Spiral Dynamics. It's a very similar map, although it has different colors. The idea is that there is a leap from postmodern consciousness to integral consciousness, and integral consciousness is basically a consciousness that includes, transcends and includes, but includes all of the truths and insights of the previous stages of consciousness. I'll just jump the gun a little bit. And the idea is that when you take perspectives, that's a very, very powerful thing. In fact, perspective taking, the idea of looking through another person's eyes, another culture's eyes, another sex, another age, another time, you know? I mean, as a practice. And really do your best to get curious, and more curious and less critical, and more friendly and less judgmental, less condemning of other people. Because down here, everybody hates each other. You know, these structures of consciousness, postmodernism hates modernism. You know, it thinks we're living in this ever-darkening world of eco-collapse. Modernists hate traditionalism. They think it's a bunch of Jesus freaks and George Bushes and Dick Cheneys who are just out to dominate the world. These guys, of course, traditional consciousness thinks modernists are a bunch of hedonists who sold out, and postmodernists are like woo-woo California hot tub people. You know, we hear these critiques all the time. This is the stuff of our culture. And they all have their sort of message that they bring. They all have their piece of the truth from an integral perspective. Because in integral, what happens is that you actually, you begin to see that this is at least a map of the pattern of emergence itself. Okay? And when you see that there's actually something that is powering this, or if there isn't, at least it's operating under its own power. Because it happens in every culture. Some cultures have stopped here, some cultures have stopped here, some cultures have stopped wherever. It's not that they've stopped, it's just that's where they're at. And some cultures have continued to evolve. And lots of reasons for that. One of the problems of even saying that is, of course, it raises the antibodies of Green, of postmodernism, that says that how can you say that any person is more evolved than any other person? Or how can you say that any culture is more evolved than any other culture? The answer is because it's fucking obvious, isn't it? You know? And we can make a distinction here. And we can say that, yes, we can say that something is more developed than something else without saying that it's more valuable. That's a very important distinction. It's just like, would you say that a child is more valuable than an adult? Who in the world would say that? What you can say, however, is there are things that adults can do that children can't. And there are things children can do that adults can't. Children see the enchantment of the world. Children see that there is something magic and alive that we lose as we go up here. That's also true of these cultures. Now, unfortunately, cultures that still live or stuck, it's not stuck, again, my language is giving me away a little bit, but cultures who are in tribal, they also see the enchantment of the world. The world is full of spirits, good spirits, evil spirits, and you know, that sounds really great till you're there. You know, and you have to throw a virgin into the volcano because God's mad at you. You know, or you have to, or, you know, of course, one of the markers of this consciousness is material poverty and just that uncouthness of flies buzzing around your eyes. You know, who wants that? People didn't want that. That's only glamorous up here. It's not glamorous down here. And so the erotic urge, that emergence of making it better, making it safer, making us stronger, making us see more. We just, human beings, we have to see as much as we possibly can. I remember when I went to Honduras to work with my fundamentalist Christian friend after the earthquake there, the earthquake in the late 80s, I guess it was. It was like literally dirt floors in this town where we were. But there were 3 or 4 satellite dishes. And that's where the people wanted to gather at night, was to look at the 2 or 3 televisions that were in town. They didn't want to come to the little church that we were staying at anymore and sing the same old hymns and the same old boring, you know, stuff. They wanted to see the world.
That's what I was going to ask about. I was thinking about my Sudanese refugee friend grew up in absolutely tribal, you know. He was,
One of the Lost Boys.
yeah, he was herding goats with his dad when he was 6. But he then, you know, became a Lost Boy, a refugee, and was educated by Catholic relief organizations and became a Catholic. So I think it seems like he kind of skipped warrior and went to traditional. And now he's in the United States going to school and trying his best to become a nurse because he wants to help people, which almost seems kind of postmodern, or, you know, I mean, is it possible for people to make these kind of jumps?
Well, yeah, all of these structures want to help people. They just want to help ever increasing. I mean, you don't want to help well, tribal actually it sort of has an exception to a lot of this, but because tribal, unless they were competing, they were very cooperative and egalitarian, and there was a certain harmony and beauty to that. No problem. But at this point, you don't want to help your enemy.
Right.
You know, the tribe or the mega tribe that is competing with your tribe, it would be, you would hurt them with glee. It's like when I gargle in the morning and kill millions of germs on contact. Perfect. That's what I want to do. I don't want those germs, you know. And I don't care that they're just, you know, trying to raise their kids. I want rid of them. And that's that mentality. You know, what's important about this, and what Integral really invites us to do is look through these eyes. You know, even like if we look at developmental science and developmental psychology with Piaget and all of these guys, particularly Piaget. The classic Piaget experiment was, I'll do it as best I can. If you're 3-year-olds, and I hold up a card as the experimenter, okay, and you're 3-year-olds, and I ask you, what color is this? What do you say? Yellow, right? What color is this? White. Okay? So, what color are you seeing now? Okay? What color are you seeing now? Okay. What color am I seeing? No. A 3-year-old would say yellow. Yellow, yellow, yellow. It's just yellow. It's not about getting around the bend and seeing through my eyes. It's just, there's yellow. It's not even a reflective act at 3. Now, my friend Hui insists that his daughter knew the difference at 3, and I'm sure there are examples. But this is a classic experiment. In fact, it's used as one of the examples of a good social science psychological experiment because it's been replicated in various cultures, and you know, it's one of those pretty much a gold standard. Now, when you get to 6-year-olds, no problem. If you ask, what color am I seeing? Yeah, and they get it. Yeah. And so that's just a really basic example of what we're talking about are structures of consciousness that are really, it's not about what we're thinking, it's about how we're thinking. Okay? And the very way that we view and relate to the world. And so we see this in our culture now. We see this in traditional culture, which is in our world, is in our America, is about 25, 30%, how you want to slice it, of conservative Republicans, or Republicans, basically. All right. And